What's up, guys? Welcome to Casually Opinionated, where we talk about everything you want to know and everything that matters in pop culture and current events. And it's Black History Month, so it's only right that I cover some topic within this realm in some way. And on top of giving you guys some history on Black history, I want to talk about some aspects of Black culture that I feel are severely overlooked and how just addressing these things and hopefully fixing them can lead to Black history for years to come. Let's get into it. The thing about Black history and Black culture in general is that it's one sensitive topic that branches off into three or four other topics that are just as sensitive. I mean, you probably have a better chance at getting Jim Jones to talk about Max B than you would at getting some people to listen to these conflicting opinions when it comes to Black culture.
We're not even going to talk about that. I'm going to spare you on that because I like you. But let's not go there. You don't even have to mention the name again. Right?
Okay.
But like most things, it's important to start with some history. The month-long celebration of Black excellence throughout history was initially known as Negro History Week and was started by author and historian Carter G. Woodson and minister Jesse E. Moreland when they founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, an organization dedicated to researching Black history. The first Negro History Week was on the second week of February in 1926, which was chosen to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. State after state started to recognize Negro History Month throughout the decades, and awareness grew thanks to things like the Civil Rights Movement. The first celebration of Black History Month proper took place at Kent State University in 1970 and was officially recognized by any president for the first time in 1976 when Gerald Ford had urged Americans to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans. I think it's the 45th year of Black History Month proper, and it's hard to believe that some people remember it being called something else, or maybe some people remember there being no Black History Month at all. I think one thing is undeniable, and that's with all the protest and racial injustice awareness that's gone on as of late, this may be the biggest spotlight that Black History Month and Black culture has probably ever had. I think one of the easiest ways to access Black culture if you're not Black or any culture outside of your own is through the media. And being that this is a channel that focuses on pop culture, I think it's only right that we talk about how Blacks have been portrayed in the media throughout the years. Whether it's film, TV, or even music, media not only affects how we view ourselves, but how others view us as well, for the better or sometimes for the worse.
You look at it in the 80s, Archie Bunker was a stark racist. Stark. If you don't know who Archie Bunker is, look him up. All in the Family, great show. The Jeffersons, stark racist. Fred Sanford, stark racist. But you know what Black people and white people did? They laughed. You watch 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. Both of them hated each other because he was Black and because he was white. You know what they did? They laughed. But the reality is this, if you're ignorant about something and you can't ask me a question so you're not ignorant, how do you get better?
Fair.
So if you come to me and you're yelling, oh, I hate Black people because of A, B, C, and D, then you're ignorant. You're a fool. I can't talk to you. But if you come to me and say, look, like my friends do, look, you're a Black dude, I feel like I can talk to you, so I don't understand A, B, C, and D.
Right.
And we have those conversations.
Real
We have
talk.
a glass of whiskey and we have because I do the same thing about white people, Asian people, and Latino people.
I think we're really seeing something like this with Black History Month, especially this year, where people of other races are educating themselves on just some of the great things that Black people have done throughout history. But honestly, I kind of lean more towards Morgan Freeman's opinion of this situation.
Black History Month you find
Ridiculous.
why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No,
Well-
no, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
No, I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
And when it comes to the extra attention causes like BLM will be getting this month,
There are some very, very, militant type forces in Black Lives Matter. And what I was issuing was a warning. It's one of those things where I've been a part of different groups, I've been a part of different things, and you see how extremes can really can go far and can go wild. And then when you issue a warning, and when a warning is seen as detrimental to the movement, how can you ever have checks and balances? In the 60s and 70s, airplanes went down all the time. And the reason they found out why they did was because the pilots could never be questioned. And when you have the leaders of the Black Lives Movement who are now talking about, if we don't get our demands, we're going to burn it down. Other Black people who are talking about working with other whites and other races, they're being viewed as sellouts or called Uncle Toms. You start to understand that you are now, being controlled. You're not being treated as love. You're actually being controlled. Someone wants to control the narrative.
and that leads me to the part that's gonna get a lot of Black people mad, a part that Black people don't even want to acknowledge exists sometimes, and I think it's something that needs to be highlighted, talked about, and eradicated, and that's Black racism, whether it's within the Black community itself or with other races. An article by Rasmussen Reports back in 2013 states that 37% of Americans consider Blacks to be racist, and just 15% consider whites to be. They also state that among Black Americans, 31% think most Blacks are racist, while 24% consider most whites to be. The study was conducted again last year, and 25% of all Americans think most African Americans are racist, which is down from 37% in 2013, as opposed to the 18% for whites. So why is that? And I could already hear all the Black people saying like, oh, those Black people must not be Black. So what is Black, or what is Blackness? Because depending on who you ask, you get a different answer. Let me know in the comments below. There was a think piece published by physicist and educator Milan Harbrovsky titled The Concept of Blackness that states, various race and racist studies, as well as a wide range of prejudice and stereotypes, assume an immediately lower status for Black skin. There are only a few studies devoted to the issue of why exactly Black skin is considered inferior. Before anybody asks, he is obviously white, but I do think he's touching on something here. Theodore Johnson, a Black man, published an article on Black crime where he says, too often racism is seen as a social phenomenon that happens to Black people, but it happens through Black people as well. The negative associations thrust upon Black people and Black culture can color how we Black people view each other. I've been called white by so many Black people for the way I sound when I talk, or have my blackness come in question for the way that I think or the people that I work with or the way that I choose to do things. But anytime I hear things like that, the same thing always comes to mind.
Being black isn't what I'm trying to be, it's what I am. I'm running the same race and jumping the same hurdles you are, so why are you tripping me up? You said we need to stick together, but you don't even know what that means. If you ask me, you're the real sellout.
But I think Barack Obama said it best.
One of the great changes that's occurred in our country since I was your age is the realization there's no one way to be black. I take it from somebody who's seen both sides of the debate about whether I'm black or not.
It's like we're out here acting like this.
The 31-year-old mother says she was buying a bottle of wine after work when two men walked in the shop on West 128th Street and St. Nicholas Avenue. She says the man in the red offered to pay.
I politely declined and I said, no thank you, but thank you. Could pay for it myself. And I got ready to walk out, and before I walk out, he basically said that he felt like I thought that I was better than them.
The men followed her out, she says, asking what did she want to do about it.
I just asked him, I said, you're seriously trying to fight me? I'm trying to go about my business.
She says they chased her across the street, kicking her, and one man actually bit her forehead, leaving deep wounds. She says he tried to bite her eye out.
And our mindset is like this.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice.
I think I'm getting a little off topic, but I would love to keep talking about this because it just doesn't get enough attention. To me, black is strength. Black is elegance, but black is black regardless of whatever weird definitions somebody might have in their head. I think now more than ever it's important for us as human beings to have open minds and be willing to learn from each other.
But we're in a position now in society, in this country, where no one wants to listen. The smartest person in a conversation is the person who listens. So when you talk about black or white, when you talk about race, when you talk about sexism, when you talk about homophobia, I think the most interesting perspective is to sit back and just let that person talk. Because there's nothing I can add to that perspective.
I think while we exhibit some of the amazing things that black people have done throughout history, while we acknowledge all those who fell to racial injustice, we should also take a look at ourselves as a community. Get it stronger, get more united, give each other the tools and the facts to win. Because honestly, one of my greatest fears for black culture is
we're raising whole generations who regard facts as more or less optional. And they're being taught that it's important to have views, and they're not being taught that it's important to know what you're talking about. It's important to hear the opposite viewpoint, and more important, to learn how to distinguish why viewpoint A and viewpoint B are different and which one has the most evidence or logic behind it. They disregard that. They hear something and they hear some rhetoric and they run with it.
So what do you guys think about Black History Month? Are you for it, against it? Do you feel like it's pretty much formulaic at this point? Do you think we need to ensure Black history's legacy, to ensure it has a future? What are some things you think should be addressed to make that possible? Do y'all want a part 2 to this? Because we're only scratching the surface when it comes to some of these topics. We can take a really deep dive. Let me know down there. Be sure to like this video and follow me on Instagram at Casually Opinionated, or you can follow my personal Instagram at Litoswaay, and I'm also on Twitter after 5 years at Litoslife, and I'll see you guys on the next one.